Danny Lawhon of the Register Sports staff here with wrestling reporter Andy Hamilton to kind of do a quick video on a reaction to a memo from the Iowa High School Athletic Association that's kind of forcing the hand of some high school wrestling coaches potentially come state duels in regards to the state tournament coming up in just a week and a half. Andy, why is there renewed conflict after such consternation over the subject last year?
Well, I think it all stems from the start of this whole fiasco where, the coaches felt like this whole ordeal with the state duels moving from Cedar Rapids to Des Moines, moving from a week after the state traditional tournament to the day before, I think they felt like it was all kind of shoved down their throat. Now, the state association said a year ago that that the Wrestling Advisory Committee recommended this, but members of the Wrestling Advisory Committee told me last year that no, that wasn't the case, that the state association basically said, this is your choice, this is what you have, and really didn't give a plan B, it really didn't give an alternative. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what it stems from, and then it's just been growing from that. The state association really hasn't listened to the complaints of many coaches last year. I mean, this was an overwhelming majority a year ago that did not like wrestling the state duels on the eve of the traditional tournament for several reasons. Injury risk, it kind of puts some wrestlers at a competitive disadvantage, at least the ones that go through 3 tough matches in the state duels versus the other guys of comparable stature that have to that get to sit out for Wednesday and don't have to wrestle until Thursday.
So take away though, then don't put on a coach's hat and forget the desires of what the athletic association might want, in terms of what might work best in terms of money and logistics and keeping kids out of class or whatever. I mean, in your mind, if you just said, let's just do what's best for the competition, I mean, what's the solution here?
Yeah, I mean, there are several. I think pretty much any solution is better than the alternative right now from a pure wrestling standpoint. It's better than what's on the table at this point, because I think given the power of the traditional tournament, the prestige of the traditional tournament, putting the duels on the eve of that, you're never going to see the top individual matches. If you've got a 1 versus 2 matchup in the state duels, you're probably not going to, there are going to be coaches that are reluctant to wrestle that and turn around and have to wrestle it in a couple days later.
So do you just put it at the end? I mean, what do you do? If you had to pick one way to go at it, what would you do?
I mean, you could go at flip-flop it, I think, would be, right now, from a simplicity standpoint, to just flip-flop it and move the traditional tournament up to Wednesday through Friday, wrestle the duels on Saturday night would be tremendous from an individual standpoint. You think of the potential of the quality of wrestling at that point. Granted, there are going to be some guys that are a little beat up and tired, and some guys are going to have accomplished their goals, some guys are going to have their goals shattered, but at that point, coaches are going to let it fly, and for instance, if you're coaching a team, you and I are coaching each other, coaching teams going for 5th at this point. You've got a 145-pound state champion, and I've got a 152-pound state champion, and the duel's not on the line. We might want to see how that one pans out.
Sure.
It'd be fun to watch from a fan standpoint, and yet, something like that's never going to happen under the current format. So I think, and under the current format, it looks like, imagine a lot of coaches, when they're not wrestling for a title, when they're not wrestling, when duels are determined, they're going to scale back and do as little as possible to just get through Wednesday with as healthy as possible.
Okay, but how realistic is that, given the climate?
You're
right.
Alan Bestie of the state association says this is what they have, this is what they're going with. He said that they can't move the traditional tournament up to Wednesday because of missed class time. He said that it's class time missed for 24 schools now, 1 day of class missed for 24 schools versus 200 plus for the traditional meet. However, you look at what volleyball's doing. Volleyball's adding another missed day of class time to change its state tournament schedule around, and it just seems like there are alternatives out there that are better than the one that is on the table.
Well, either way, there's fresh angst, I guess, for coming up, leading up to the state tournament coming up here over Valentine's Day weekend, and I'm sure there'll be much more to talk about on that front in the next couple of weeks, including, too, just looking at this weekend. So check back on Thursday as well for another weekend preview of both the high school and collegiate scenes on DesMoinesRegister.com.